Welcome back, Brick Brigade, to another episode. In today's episode, we are going to be taking a look at another huge minifigure haul. A bunch of different purchases that I made this week off of eBay. You're going to see quite a few of the figures up close on the stand, and then there's so much stuff that there's no way that I could put it all into one video. But I'm going to kind of just show you some lots and piles of figures and parts that I acquired, and I'm going to talk about some of the experiences that we had, so make sure you stay tuned. Also, guys, we are doing a giveaway at the end of the video, so make sure you follow along to the end. You got to be a subscriber, you have to like the video, and you have to leave a comment to be eligible. But without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, Brick Brigade, so we're going to take a look from left to right. Starting at the top, we have a light-up Luminara Unduli Jedi minifigure. The figure is in amazing condition. The lightsaber still lights up. Next to her, we have Commander Fox, P1. We have all of his accessories as well. I just didn't really get to putting them on him. Next, we have Emperor Palpatine, the old version of Emperor Palpatine with the yellow face and hands. Following Palpatine, we have a chrome TC-14. Now he's in pretty good condition. He shows some wear on the print on the front, and he has a little bit of a scratch on the back. Nothing major, still a really cool find, and we got him for a great price as part of a lot. Next we have a classic Grays OG Boba Fett. Then we have a couple of different sand troopers, as you can see, some sergeants with the different pauldrons. Pauldrons are in overall very good condition. And following up and finishing up on the right there, we have one of the old school Kashyyyk Scout Troopers. Those guys are really cool. I think those are worth around $100, give or take, depending on condition and obviously who you buy them from. Let's look at our second row down, going left to right. First up is Death Watch Mandalorian. Then we have Clone Wars Anakin Skywalker in the parka. I think it's the episode called Trouble with the Talls. And then I believe we have an A-Wing pilot, old school A-Wing pilot. Then we have a clone pilot. I forget, there are so many different figures off the top of my head. I can't recall who that is exactly. Next we have a clone gunner. We have a P1 clone, we have a Death Star Trooper gunner, we have Princess Leia from Endor, we have an Anakin, we have an old school Obi-Wan Kenobi. Third row down, starting on the left, we have Lando Calrissian with his Skiff Guard outfit disguise. We have the Imperial Royal Guard, the Emperor's Royal Guards from Return of the Jedi. Next we have General Grievous, who is missing 2 arms. Normally the figure comes with 4. I believe I have them. If not, then I'll just acquire them. But the arms that are on there now are actually 2 right arms, so he's missing 2 left arms. So pretty sure I have those. If not, I'll just pick them up off of Bricklink or eBay. Then we have Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi. We have 2 old school General Grievouses in white. So after Grievous in white, we have, I believe, one of the Skiff Guards. Then we have Nadar Veb from Clone Wars, who meets an untimely death. So after Nadar Veb, we have what drove me to this particular lot. We have an Indiana Jones head on top of a Pong Krill leg and torso set, which is really cool. I believe I have the correct head, and if not, then I'll just buy it off of Bricklink or try to find it somewhere cheap on eBay, but those aren't the hardest part to find. The hardest part is actually the torso and the legs. So pretty happy with that score. Those are pretty valuable. We have a snowy Chewbacca. Starting on the 4th row down, we have a Din Djarin Mandalorian. That is one of the black head figures. It's not the highly detailed figure head like the UCS version has. And then we have another, I believe, pirate. I could be wrong. I can't remember that figure's name. And we have Grief Karga. And we have, that is not Jar Jar Binks, that is a Gungan soldier. We have one of the newer Boba Fett figures in the middle there from either the mech or from Boba Fett's throne room. We have another Lando Calrissian. We have an Endor Rebel Commando. We have one of the Talls. His name is Tai Sen. Following Tai Sen, we have old school Tusken Raider. And of course, next to the Tusken Raider, we have the plain version, the old brown Lego version of Wicket the Ewok. Really cool figure, memorable to my childhood, not the figure itself, but the character from the movie. All right, Brick Brigade, next row down, we have, starting from left to right, we have the black Imperial TIE pilot. We have a Boba Fett with the olive-colored cape. We have 2 ARF troopers. They are not the Rancor Elite troopers. They're just 2 regular ARF troopers. We have a Star Corps trooper with the yellow stripes on the helmet there. It's somewhat rare figure. We have another Stormtrooper, Sand Trooper version, old school Sand Trooper version, Sergeant with, or Commander, I can't recall, with the orange pauldron. Next to him we have another newer version of the Sand Trooper with that white and black striped pauldron. We have another P1 clone, and then we have a Scout Trooper, one of the old school Scout Troopers with the black head underneath and the cutout on the helmet. Finishing off that row, we have an OG Stormtrooper with those dark blue vents. Starting from the third row up from the bottom, on the left-hand side, we have the newer version of the white colored General Grievous. He has only 2 arms. I may have the other 2 arms in my inventory, in my Lego Boneyard. I'll have to check on that. After Grievous, we have Anakin with the dark printed legs, the black glove hand, and then the flight headset. Then we have an OG 501st, no holes, 501st Clone Trooper. Okay, so after that 501st OG Trooper, we have a 41st Elite Kashyyyk Trooper. Next to him, we have a 41st Elite Kashyyyk Trooper helmet on top of the Scout version of the 41st Elite. And we have, I believe, an AT-ST driver. We have an Imperial TIE, it's either TIE Advanced or TIE Bomber pilot next. We have Asajj Ventress. This version is really cool with the cloth skirt. A lot of times the skirt is missing. You might find the torso, the legs are dark blue. The head is quite common, but it's that cloth skirt that she's wearing that is the real hard to find piece. So that's a cool figure. I was glad to find it, and I got a really good deal on it as well. Next we have Ahsoka, Padawan Ahsoka, with her little tube top, and her horns and print and everything on her in very, very nice condition. And to finish off this row, we have Clone Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. Okay, second row up from the bottom on the far left, we have Princess Leia, the celebration ceremony version, the ceremony version of Princess Leia. I have a clean, brand new white cape for her that I'm going to put on. That is a pricey figure, and I got it in a lot of figures that the total cost of the lot wasn't even worth the value of that one figure. So I happened to spot it, and I guess no one else did because it was an auction that almost no one bid on, so I was happy to get that one because that one figure paid for the entire auction. Pretty sweet deal. So deals are out there, guys. You just gotta look for them. After her, we have another white version of the old school General Grievous. We have two Magna Guards without their capes. I have at least one cape in my parts boneyard, and I'll have to order another cape or try to find one, but those figures are like 30 bucks a piece with capes, so 30 plus depending on how the market's doing for them at that time. But get those figures at a really good deal as well. And then we have Yoda. We have paired together, we've got Rhoda, or Stinky as Ahsoka called him, and the Clone Wars, another version of Ahsoka there, the Padawan Ahsoka rather. We have a Plo Koon. His horns are in decent condition. They're not mint, but they're also not bad. Then we have a couple of astromechs, obviously. We have R2 in the middle, and I'm not sure what the names of those astromechs are off the top of my head. I know a lot about Lego, but I don't have everything memorized, so we'll just call them 3 astromechs. Obviously R2. All right, we made it to the bottom. On the left, we have an old school Tauntaun with the tan horns, no saddle. I believe I may have some reins for him in my inventory. I might even have another saddle left over, but cool figure. It's about a $10 to $15 figure as it sits right now. Next in, we have a Back to Tank Luke, one of the newer versions. We have Mace Windu with lightsaber. We have Qui-Gon Jinn. We have a Sebulba. We have a Geonosian zombie without the wings. We have a Captain Rex Hoth version right there. We have Super Battle Droid with a blaster arm. We have an Emperor Palpatine with his lightning there, his zippity zaps. And then we have a Darth Maul. I believe that is the one where he is arrested or finally captured by Ahsoka in the Clone Wars. I think that's the version of him. Don't quote me on it. I could be wrong. It's happened before. Okay, Brick Brigade, so here's a little combination of some figures that I bought from several different lots and some different parts and helmets and things like that. I just want to kind of lump these together, not necessarily to show them off because there's nothing here that it's all that amazing. It's more of the story behind it. So, okay, so this lot of helmets right here is one of the lots that I bought off of eBay. There was a helmet lot. I bid on it according to the information I received. I always ask a seller, is there any damage? Is there anything that I should know? Any cracks? Any issues at all? I'd rather know up front. So I always ask every seller when I'm a buyer. Same thing I would expect any buyer to do when they shop with me at my company, Red 5 Trading Company. The seller, good feedback, perfect feedback, said nope, no issues. She had explained that there were a couple of heads that were stuck inside the helmets, which I respected, and they came out no problem with a little bit of a, using a needle nose plier, they popped right out. And then upon further inspection, several of the helmets are clearly not Lego. Several of them are, about half of them are real Lego, but as you may even be able to see on camera, several of them are not real Lego. So I questioned the seller. She apologized immediately. She said it was her first time selling Lego and that she would just refund me. There was no need to send them back. So I was able to score that lot of helmets for absolutely nothing, which worked out well. So a lesson there also is to speak up and to be polite and appropriate about things. I'm sure if I had gone in at her hard and was accusing her of trying to rip me off, and some people have been known to call names. It's not my style, but there's a lot of people out there that don't have any tact at all. If I had chosen that route, I'm sure she would have just said, okay, return them, and I wouldn't have gotten to keep anything for free. Or maybe she would have just said, suck it up, deal with it, who knows? Who knows how it could have played out? But I think the best way to deal with anybody is obviously just be kind, be nice, be respectful, and remember that what you say represents you. Just my little 2 cents there. So aside from those helmets, some of these other figures, I'm not going to go through and show you each one, but some of them have cracks in their arms, some of them have cracks in their torsos, some of them have some leg damage. Not all of them, but instead of going through and showing you each one, because there's no point in really looking at cracks. Point is, overall, again, is that I had asked these sellers ahead of time, does anything have an issue? Are there any issues, are there any cracks, any damage? And universally, people said no. Anyone who ever says yes, I always respect and say, okay, great, thank you. Can you show me which figures are cracked? And I had one auction that I actually purchased because someone showed me the only figure that was cracked was this particular part right here. Everything else is great. And that person was 100% right, and I'm happy that I did and won that auction. It's the surprises that you get when you get these figures and there are broken parts and pieces. And I understand, I'm a seller. Things happen, sometimes things get past you. But when you have multiple items that you purchase from somebody and there are multiple cracks on multiple items, it becomes obvious that they just didn't look. So that happened on a few auctions. Some of the auctions I got partial returns, which worked out for me. It was something that we had worked out together. And some of the auctions I had actually requested returns and the person just refunded me instantly and there was no need to return any of the items at all. And that worked out great for me as a reseller. Guys, go out there. Just know that when you're bidding, you're going to run into some lots where things aren't that great. Find a seller who sells quality stuff and stick with them. It's just one of those things. Sometimes you gotta learn. You gotta go through the process. You gotta go through the hassle a little bit, but eventually you'll find some good sellers out there that you will go back to over and over and over again because they stand behind what they sell and they sell good stuff. So in this lot too, you will notice there are some cool things. There's this blue, pearl blue, I believe is what it's called. Super Battle Droid. It's a pricey fig. I think I have some legs for that, and I think I'm just missing one of the arms, but it's a cool figure. It's a valuable little figure when it's complete. We've got some Super Battle Droids. I know I have the legs, and I know I have the other arm to complete those blaster arm figures. We've got some different figures in this lot that have value, like this Bomb Squad torso. The leg's not a big deal. I can get rid of those legs and swap them out and put some fresh legs on there. I believe I have Bomb Squad legs. So there's some good stuff here, and overall, I mean, I got a lot of this for next to nothing after all of the returns, partial returns, instant returns. So after all is said and done on this particular group of figures here, I'm probably into what you see on the table here for maybe about $10, maybe, thanks to the partial returns and the full returns. So all right, Brick Brigade, and here's another lot of figures. Again, we're not going to go through each and every single figure, but as you can see, there are some really old Stormtroopers here. There are some somewhat newer ones, nothing brand new. Obviously, we have some Snowtroopers as well, a couple of droids, mixed matched or mismatched. We have a couple of AT drivers. We have Two Anakins. We have another Lando Calrissian skiff guard. We have printed legs Chewie. We have an old school Chewie Tusken Raider, Poe, another AT-AT driver, a bunch of different figures here. Some of these have, again, cracked arms or cracked torsos. There's no point in looking at all the different cracks, so I'm just going to show you them as a lot. Again, the same thing that I mentioned previously applies. Some of these were gotten basically for purchase, basically for nothing after refunds, and whether they were partial or full refunds through eBay. So just wanted to show you guys, this is all part of what we've acquired this week. So Brick Brigade and this lot, this is one of the lots I wanted to show you because there were quite a few parts in here. I actually removed some of them. I mixed matched them in some of the other lots that I've shown you. They contained fake Lego. One of the reasons I had bid on this lot was for this figure. If he was real, he's like a $50 figure all by himself. And the entire lot, when I purchased it, I believe was about 40 bucks I had won the auction for. So when I received the items, first thing I did was I found this guy in the bag, and I could tell as soon as I picked it up, it just didn't feel right. So after you've handled a lot of Lego, you can start to feel the difference, and he is definitely a knockoff. Nothing about this guy is real. As you can see, nothing is stamped Lego. The manufacturing process is not Lego. There's nothing here that is Lego. Nowhere on here, anywhere is it stamped Lego, not even in the helmet. And you can feel the plastic is lighter and thinner and just has a flimsier feel to it. And you can even tell in some of the other parts where it is certainly not Lego. Also, this was in the lot. This is supposed to be a lightsaber hilt that is not Lego. This head here, while it looks to some people like it's Lego, when you look at it and look at the proportioning, the mouth and eye proportions are off for sure. And when you take it apart and look at it, nowhere on it is it stamped Lego, neither in the hair. And this little blaster also is very rounded. The mold is not very crisp at all. Lego has very defined mold, and usually it's stamped Lego. And whenever you find some of the Lego in a lot that you've bought is not Lego, take a real good look, because there's a good chance that some of the rest of it is not Lego as well. That's exactly what happened in this lot. I got curious and started to look through it, and the more I looked, the more I found that wasn't Lego. So what you're seeing here, these pieces are not Lego. This is not Lego. Everything else here is. Some of it, again, is cracked and had that issue where needed to contact the seller, and all of the sellers, I have to say, I got to give them credit. While they didn't do their due diligence or just weren't educated on Lego enough to be selling things as excellent condition or without damage, they did the right thing and either offered the return, offered to accept the return right away. There was no hemming and hawing, no debating whether or not I was right or I was wrong. I provided the pictures and they instantly all apologized. So I have to give the sellers a lot of credit for that. Overall, really good lot, especially considering I think this one ended up costing me nothing. Most of the sellers that sold these items did not want their items returned. All right, here we have another smaller lot of figures that were purchased. These are a combination of a couple of lots that I put together. Some of these figures, again, have cracked arms or a cracked leg or torso, depending on which figure it is. Most of them, however, are in good condition, and some of the droids, as you can see, are mixed matched. But so what's really cool about these lots is that I paid next to nothing for them after the partial refunds and the returns. We're talking maybe a couple of bucks for what you see here after everything is all needed out, and when you net everything out, it really ends up being basically maybe $4 to $5 worth of stuff that you see right here. So really can't complain, even though things didn't go the way they should have. Alright guys, here I am putting together a couple of different bags from a big bulk buy. My most expensive bulk buy this week was a giant lot of 112 minifigures that were complete, plus a bunch of parts, accessories, droid parts, torsos, parts and pieces, all kinds of good stuff. It was definitely worth it. I put a max bid in of much higher than it ended up costing me, and part of the figures that were damaged and cracked, some of them are here, here, and here were all from, or partially from, this big lot. So that seller was really cool, just like all the other sellers. He apologized. He instantly refunded me $100 for those figures, which was really nice of him. I didn't even have to ask for an amount. He just said, how does $100 off sound? And I said, that's awesome, thank you very much, and I appreciated it. And I'll be leaving him positive feedback. Even though everything wasn't 100% no cracks like he said, he made it right. And the high-end figures that I bought from him were all really good. So $100, getting that back will definitely help, and I'll be able to replace some of the parts that were broken in this lot. Either way, you guys can see here, there's a bunch of extra droid parts, torsos, legs, feet, arms, bodies in this bag. We're not going to look at all the different parts, but you can see there's one of those plastic waste commas. There are a couple of those DC-17 guns. There's another plastic waste comma. There's a lot of nice Star Wars parts and accessories in this bag. Definitely some good stuff here. Again, that was all part of that big lot that I bought, the most expensive lot from this week. That's all part of it. Alright guys, so everything that you see on the table here in front of us, this is all from just a random bag that was included in that big lot that I purchased this past week as part of that big expensive bulk deal. This stuff was not even accounted for. This was simply included in the, there's a nice set of ARC Trooper legs there, included in the lot as just kind of like, hey, here's a bag of minifigure parts and pieces. I'm just going to throw it in here. This torso alone is like a $55 to $65 torso. That's just the torso. And as you can see, looking around on the table here, there's quite a bit of valuable stuff here. We've got Aura Singh, Padme, Slave Leia torso, a Moff Tarkin. There's a lot of different stuff here. V-Wing pilot. So many different main character torsos. General Veers, Indiana Jones, Shadow Trooper, I believe. Clone pilot. Like I showed you, the ARC Trooper legs. Another torso there. Old school Jar Jar Binks. A lot of stuff here. A lot of different clone gunner torsos. Another Star Corps torso, if we can get that to focus. Another Star Corps torso. So overall, this was a very good deal, and it was nice that the seller made things right by just giving me $100 back off the top just for those figures that had some cracks and issues. Now, a lot of those figures just had arm cracks, so I can replace the arms, and you know, what was a 60-cent arm, the seller basically credited me $5 for. It was really nice of him, and I appreciate that for sure. So it just goes to show you that there are good sellers out there, guys. There are good sellers out there. People make mistakes, myself included, but it's about what you do once you make the mistake. You try to make it right, or are you just trying to screw people over? So just beware. There's a little bit of everything out there, guys. We appreciate you guys staying tuned and watching to the end. Now, again, if you want to be eligible for the minifigure giveaway, you have to be a subscriber. You have to have liked the video, and you have to leave a comment. You have to do all three of those things in order to be eligible to win the minifigure. I'll randomly pick somebody who wins, and then I'll reach out to you through YouTube, and we'll try to get in touch, and we'll try to get your address, and then we can send you the figure that you win. But you gotta be a subscriber, you've got to like the video, and you have to comment. Again, guys, thanks so much for watching. We appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. We hope to see you again next time on Brick Brigade 99.